Hi friends, welcome to Sada Learning Hub. You are with me Shada Shara. Today's session we are going to learn the most important JSP interview questions. See guys, in this video I am going to cover the most important 15 JSP interview questions. The first question is show attributes of page directive. See here, what are the different attributes are available for the page directive? Now if you see, I'm going to explain some of the attributes for the page directive. The first one is session attribute. The session attribute, it shows if a session data is available to the page. The next attribute is import attribute. It shows a packages that are imported. If you want to import any Java packages into your JSP page, we can use the page attribute as an import. That will be import all the packages into your JSP page. The next one is EL ignored. EL ignored means it shows whether expression language expressions are ignored when JSP translates into the servlet. If you are putting is EL ignored is equal to true, means what you are saying, ignore the expression language. If you are putting is EL ignored is equal to false, it shows whether EL expressions are ignored when a JSP translated into a servlet. The next one is content type. The content type, it allows the user to specify the content type of the page. Means is it a UTF-8 or it is a UTF-15? It is going to tell what content type you are using into your JSP page. These are the some page attributes available in your JSP page. The next question is what is the include directive? The include directive statically inserts the content of the resources into your current JSP. Whatever you are inserting the file, whatever you are including the file, automatically it inserts content into your JSP page. It helps in the reuse of the code without duplicating and including the contents of the file at the translation time. See here, if you see the syntax is include file attribute is equal to file name, means whatever the file name you are given, that will be inserts the content of the resources into the current page. Where you are putting this file name, this file will be included into your current JSP page. This file content will included into the current JSP page. It helps, it can be reuse the code of without duplication and includes the content of the file at the translation time only. The next question is what are the standard action tags in JSP? The affects overall runtime behavior of a page under the response sent back to the client. They are used to include a file at request time to instantiate the Java beans or find ones. They also use it to generate the browser specific code forward requests to a new page. If you see, there is some standard actions or tags are available in JSP page. If you see forward tag, means we are forwarding one JSP to the another JSP page. Include tag, we are including the response from one JSP to the another JSP. Param tags, param tags means we are sending additional information from one JSP to the another JSP page by using the param tag. Java bean tag, Java beans tags. For example, use bean tag. The use bean tag is used to create a Java bean object. Set bean tag, set property tag. It is used to set the properties in a Java bean object. Get property tag, get property standard action tag. It is used to get the properties from the Java bean objects. Like that, these standard actions are available into their JSP page. The next question is explain the JSP colon set property action tag. It is used to give any values to the properties of a beans that have been referenced beforehand. If you see, whenever you are using this set property tag, before that, definitely we need to create a Java bean object by using the use bean property tag. If you see JSP colon use bean, I am giving the some particular ID. By using this ID, I am going to set the properties by using the set property tag. If you see, I am the JSP colon set property, name is equal to ABC and property is equal to my property. Means the JSP colon set property is executed even if a new bean is instantiated or existing bean is found by adding the JSP colon use bean. At the end of the code, the condition for execution is inverted. That is, it is not executed if existing object was found, only if a new object was instantiated. If you see, before using the set property, definitely we need to use the JSP colon use bin tag. Why? Because if you are first, whenever you are using the JSP colon use bin tag, automatically it creates an object of that particular bin, and then you can use the set property tag. It can be sets the properties of that particular Java bin object. The next question is define the static blocks. It is used to start the static data members. It executes the before class loading. If you see, whenever you are using the static blocks is used to before the class loading. If you want to use the any variables before the class loading, we can use the static blocks to load that particular variables or data members. The next question is explain a JSP colon plugin action tag. This action helps an insertion of a specific objects into your browser or embedded an elements needed to specify the runtime of applets using Java plugins. See here, if you want to embed your applet into your JSP page, in that situation, we can use a JSP colon plugin tag and we can embed your applets into your JSP page. The next question is explain the client and server side validations. See here, client side and server side validations. The JavaScript is used for the client side validations. Means client side validation means whenever you are entering the data, automatically it validates and it gives the response to the user. For example, if you are creating a one text box, you are entering the values into the particular text box. In the background, it will be check. For example, if you are entering the text box into the text box email address, it is going to check are you entered a proper email or not. That is called validation. If you see, there is a two types of validations are available: client side and server side validations. A JavaScript is used for the client side validation. It takes place within the browser. JavaScript is used to submit the form data if the validation is successful. Validation errors are required no extra network trips because from cannot be submitted. Validations are also carried out of the server after submission. If the validation fail, extra network trip is required to resend from the client. If you see here, client side validation means we are validating in a browser itself. Server side validation means we are validating your data into the server. Means you're validating the data into the server means we are validating whatever the data into the server. If anything is failed, automatically the one trip is going to waste. That is called server side validation. The next question is what is the translation phase? JSP engine translates and compiles the JSP files to the servlets. This servlet moves to the execution phase where requests and the responses are handled. They can compiled for the first time. They are accessed unless manually compiled ahead of the time. The manual or explicit compilation is useful for a long and convoluted programs. See here, the translation phase. A JSP engine translated and compiles the JSP files to the servlet. Every JSP piece is a servlet. The JSP container automatically converts your JSP page into a servlet. This servlet moves to the execution phase where the request and the response are handled. They are compiled from the first time they are accessed unless manually compiled ahead of the time. Whenever you are giving the request, automatically JSP is going to compile that time. The manual or explicit compilation is used for a long and convoluted programs. The next question is perform a browser redirection from a JSP page. If you want to redirect the request from one JSP to the another JSP page or one JSP to the servlet or one JSP to the static HTMLs, we can use the response dot send redirect. You can use the URL or we can change the location of HTTP attribute. There is a two ways you can use the browser redirection from a JSP page. You can use the send redirect method. You can give the URL, automatically it redirects the page, or we can use the HTTP header attributes response dot set status. If you use the response dot set status, HTTP response dot HTTP move permanently and response dot set header of URL. Whatever the URL is given, automatically the browser redirections from that particular JSP page. These are the two possible ways to perform a browser redirection from a JSP page. The first one is response.send redirect and the second one is by setting HTTP header attributes. The next one is give uses of object cloning. See, first of all, what is the cloning? The cloning means we can copy the object, same object. Object cloning is used to create. See, object cloning is used to create an exact copy of an object of typing the same code or using a variable or other techniques. There is a two types of cloning are available: object cloning, deep cloning, and shallow cloning. Object cloning is used to create an exact copy of an object. That is called object cloning. The next question is how to forward a request to another resource. If you want to forward the request to the another resource, we can use a JSP colon forward standard action tag. If you use the JSP colon forward standard action tag, that will forward your JSP, that will forward your request to the another sources. The next question is how can automatic creation of a session be prevented by the JSP page? If you see, whenever you are creating a JSP page, automatically it is going to create a session object. If you want to prevent a creating a session of a JSP page, we can set page attribute session is equal to false. There is a one attribute available in the page directive. That attribute is called session attribute. We can make it as a false for that session attribute to prevent creating a automatic creation of a session into your JSP page. If you want to prevent automatic creation of a session into your JSP page, we can make session attribute false in the page directive. The next question is, how can you avoid the scriptlet code in the JSP page? If you want to avoid the scriptlet code into your JSP page, if you want to avoid the code, if you want to avoid the scriptlet code into your JSP page, just you can use your Java beans or custom tags. You can use the Java beans or custom tags can be used to instead of scriptlet code. If you want to avoid the scriptlet code into your JSP page, just use Java beans and the custom tags into your JSP page. You can avoid the scriptlet code into your JSP page. The next question is, explain the jspDestroy method. The JSP destroy method is used to destroy whenever we are, if you want to destroy before before destroying your JSP page, before moving out from your JSP page, if you want to close any object connections, if you want to close any database connections, just you can use that code into your JSP destroy method. Whenever a JSP page is about to destroying, the container invokes the JSP destroy method from the javax.servlets.jsp.jsp page interface. Servlet.destroy methods are similar to it. If you see in a servlet there is a destroy method are available. How the destroy method is going to work in the servlet, in the same like that JSP destroy method is also going to work. It can be easily overridden to perform a cleanup like when closing the database connections. The JSP destroy method is also possible to override. We can override the JSP colon destroy method. You can write your own logic into your JSP colon destroy method. The last and final question is, explain the action. It is an action used with the include or forward standard actions. It helps in passing a parameter's names and the values to the resources. Action means it helps to pass the parameters names and the values to the resources. It is called an action. It is an action used to include and forward the actions, and also it helps to the passing the parameters names and use to the resources. If you see forward, forward is an one action. It is used to the forward the request. If you see include is action. It includes the response. If you see the param and params is an action, means it sends the additional information to one page to another page, or it sends the additional information along with the requests. If you see use beans and set property and get property, these are the Java bean related. These are the action tags. If you want to do any Java bean operations into your JSP page, we can use the Java bean action tags. Like that, it helps in passing a parameter's names and the values to the resources. This is about the most important 15 JSP interview questions. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video. Next video, I am going to cover next 15 questions. Keep watching.
Thank you so much watching this video. Hope this lesson helpful to you. Keep watching our lessons. Keep writing to us. Do not forget subscribe our channel Learning Hub because we have many sessions that would help you to develop our skills, and I will be back soon. Till then you take care. Bye bye.